It does say do not exceed 4 servings daily, but I don't understand why I have to go on their website to find the milligrams of caffeine per serving. Look, if this stuff is marketed to adults, then treat me like an adult. Tell me how much caffeine I'm actually consuming. Welcome back, besties. Today, interestingly, we're going to be talking about Gamer Supps. Now, this is the only gamer powder brand I've ever tried, and earlier this year, I bought like 7 tubs of them, and I was so excited to try out all the flavors. It was one of those instances where I tried some at my friend's house and was wowed by how it made me feel, so I ran home and ordered a bunch. I wish I checked the ingredients beforehand, but I didn't. Anime Girl Thigh is my favorite flavor. I used to drink it every day, but I no longer do. As for the rest, I don't even touch them anymore. Let me explain why that's the case and what changes I'd like to see from Gamer Supps, a company that I genuinely like and want to buy from. Look, if I didn't care about this, I wouldn't be making a video. Let's be clear, I am not talking bad about their partnership program or the creators or artists that promote this product. This is strictly about the ingredients, the quality, and the safety of them. GG, aka Gamer Supps, might be leading the gamer powder industry. There's a chance that other brands are formulated just the same, if not worse. But that doesn't stop me from wanting GG to do better. Aluminum lake color additives. Anime Girl Thigh is the only flavor that doesn't use these or artificial food coloring, also known as AFCs. Every single one of these tubs contains at least one aluminum lake color additive, if not more. Look, there's a reason why the European Union requires products containing yellow 5 to carry a warning label. Additionally, yellow number 6 even has an acceptable daily intake limit, or ADI, set by them at 4 milligrams per kilograms. AFCs shouldn't be consumed thoughtlessly, and there's a growing body of evidence showing some real health risks. There's different names referring to the same colorant. For example, yellow 5 is also known as FD&C yellow number 5 or CI19140 lake. Just know when I say yellow 5, I'm referring to all of those. An aluminum lake or lake is an industrially produced colorant. So lake is a term used for pigments or dyes that are precipitated with metal salts, in this case an aluminum salt. Straight dyes such as FD&C green number 3 or FD&C blue number 1 are reacted with these metal salts to form lakes. Some of the lake dyes are derived from naturally occurring plant or animal ingredients, but the vast majority of lakes is synthetically produced from coal, tar, or petroleum. Why are lakes used? Well, lakes are insoluble in water, so they're used when it's important to keep a color from bleeding, like in lipstick. Because of their stability, they're also used for coating tablets. They're versatile and can be easily combined and mixed with fats, vegetable oils, and cosmetic oils. Obviously, lakes are bad for the environment because the majority is sourced from fossil fuel. But are they bad for your health? Yes, there is a growing body of evidence showing that it causes neurobehavioral toxicity. Things like hyperactivity, hyperkinesis, which is excessive motor movement, attention span and learning issues, visual motor tracking issues, irritability and aggression, and memory issues. AFCs will bring out these ADHD-like symptoms in kids even without a prior ADHD diagnosis. Some studies suggest that 50 milligrams of AFCs per day is enough to cause behavioral changes in children. 50 milligrams might sound like a lot, but one study found one serving of Kool-Aid Burst Cherry contains 52.3 milligrams of AFCs. In a group of studies called the Southampton Studies, preschoolers and 8 to 9-year-olds were given fruit juices with different mixes and amounts of AFCs. Results of one study show that those preschoolers who were given mix A containing yellow 5 demonstrated a much higher global hyperactivity score compared to preschoolers who were given the placebo. Preschoolers weren't the only ones affected. The 8 to 9-year-olds who ingested AFCs showed signs of hyperactive behavior as well. So you might be asking, Kira, why does this matter? I'm an adult. Well, my personal philosophy is to always err on the side of caution. Just because there's no data linking AFCs to neurobehavioral issues in adults does not have me convinced it's safe. Also, the tub says it's intended for use in adults 18 years or older, but let's be real, for every kid that hops onto Reddit to ask this type of question, imagine all the other kids that don't ask, buy it, and readily consume it. Remember, it wasn't until recently that we determined the human brain doesn't fully mature until age 25. There is no reason to take anything that can affect you cognitively while your brain is still developing, unless directed by your doctor. Next issue is genotoxicity. A 2015 study looked at how human white blood cells were affected by yellow 5. Researchers found that although it wasn't immediately toxic, it did damage the DNA, causing the cell to mutate over time. After 3 hours of exposure, yellow 5 caused damage to human white blood cells in every concentration tested. Researchers noted that cells exposed to the highest concentration weren't able to repair themselves. This may make tumor growth and diseases like cancer more likely. Researchers concluded that since the cells of the GI tract are exposed directly to yellow 5, these cells may be more likely to develop cancer. Most of the AFCs you eat are metabolized in your colon, so colon cancer may be the greatest risk. One note is that this study was conducted in isolated cells and not in the human body. Do you want to gamble with your body when you only have one? I never assume anything I put in my body is innocent until proven guilty. For some people, this becomes like their water replacement. They do 1 scoop in the morning, 1 scoop at noon, and 1 scoop in the afternoon. Maybe they use a canteen or a Stanley cup and just top it off throughout the day with water and the scoops of powder. In this scenario, you are continuously exposing your stomach and GI tract to AFCs. This is called chronic and prolonged exposure and can increase your risk of bowel cancer. Bowel cancer is on the rise in young adults. People will argue, that's not true, it's because we're getting tested more. BS. If that's the case, you would catch more people with early bowel cancer. We are catching young adults with late stages of the cancer. Next health concern, artificial sweeteners. I'm fairly certain most, if not all, of these flavors contain 3 types of artificial sugars. That is ridiculous. Erythritol, acesulfame, and sucralose. All 3 have a laxative effect. You know this one that's called blowhole blast? Like, It's not kidding. Let's talk about erythritol first because it's the only one on the label that has the amount per serving, kind of. EFSA found that as a byproduct of the manufacturing process, there's lead in it. The recommended ADI of erythritol is 0.5 milligrams per kilograms per day. The amount per serving is somewhere less than 1 gram. That could mean it's 999 milligrams per scoop. The European Food Safety Authority, EFSA, reported that people's consumption of erythritol is above the acceptable daily intake. I'm not surprised. It's probably because artificial sweeteners is so pervasive in our everyday foods. Even whole wheat, healthy bread will have sucralose in it. Cereal, yogurts, protein powders, anything that's sweetened keto, stuff that's labeled reduced sugar, light, or low carb all contain artificial sweeteners. Besides 3 artificial sweeteners that are giving a laxative effect, there's caffeine in it, and a lot of it, which is also a laxative. This stuff could make you blow out your asshole and give you lead poisoning at the same time. It says up to 4 scoops per day, but there is no rhyme or reason for you to take this 4 times a day. Acesulfame potassium, real quickly, has been linked to negatively affect gut health, cardiovascular health, insulin levels, and even some cancers. There is no information on how much of this is in each serving, nor is there serving information on sucralose. Finally, we're at caffeine. Caffeine levels are hidden and way too high. It does say do not exceed 4 servings daily, but I don't understand why I have to go on their website to find the milligrams of caffeine per serving. Look, if this stuff is marketed to adults, then treat me like an adult. Tell me how much caffeine I'm actually consuming. Caffeine is a drug, and with any drug, there's interactions. If you're taking an antidepressant, like an SSRI or SNRI, these prescription drugs will potentiate the effects of caffeine to the point of causing heart palpitations, nausea, restlessness, and insomnia. Again, caffeine is a drug, so when you're at the doctor's and they ask what medications you're on, please tell them about your caffeine consumption. I just want to remind you guys that Panera's Charged Lemonade contained 390 milligrams of caffeine, and that unfortunately led to 2 deaths. 4 scoops of Supps per day is 400 milligrams of caffeine. It does say here to not use the product if you have high blood pressure or heart problems, but sometimes people don't know that they have either, especially when they're young. Let's go back to a personal philosophy of mine, to always err on the side of caution. Yes, up to 400 milligrams per day is acceptable as the upper limit, but upper limits are just that. Upper. If the general population is a bell graph, you are likely somewhere in the middle. There's no need to be that 0.1% that's pushing the maximum allowed dosage. Maybe you've built up a tolerance, but you can always reset that tolerance by cutting back. Again, you may not know that you have a pre-existing heart condition. As you age, the way your body handles caffeine changes. Your arteries get stiffer over time, everyone's does, and stimulants increases your blood pressure. This extra load can damage your vascular system. It's not uncommon for someone to drink coffee and Supps take an ADHD medication, which is a stimulant, plus take an antidepressant, which increases the effects of caffeine. If that's you, my biggest advice is to get your blood pressure checked regularly and make sure your doctor knows how much caffeine you consume. Next ingredient is carmine, and carmine is used to color my favorite flavor, anime girl thigh. Carmine is made from crushed cochineal beetles. Companies need to stop hiding if they're using animal-based ingredients. If you truly want to be progressive and market towards a younger, more conscientious audience, then offer full transparency on your label. I love how it says veg-free is vegan, but there's literally bugs in your product, so it kind of defeats the purpose. If something sounds too good to be true, then it's probably not true. Everything has trade-offs. I can either choose to consume nasty aluminum salt additives or eat bugs. But I want to be the one making that decision because it's my body and I truly feel my right as the consumer. All I need is to be informed, and I can do most of it myself. But companies, y'all can meet me halfway by putting it all on the label. Guess what? I'll choose the bugs any day. We literally evolved to digest animal matter. It's been that way for 300,000 years. Tartrazine, or yellow 5, has only existed for 150 years. Evolution has not caught up, and the detrimental side effects are only slowly coming to light. My friend V is 6'5", 220 pounds, and in his 20s. Let's take a look at his lab work after consuming Supps daily for several months. Okay, so clearly his vitamin B12 levels have shot up. There is a 2-year gap between the tests, and obviously this isn't me trying to use this as scientific evidence or to prove causation. If anything, the takeaway message is, hey buddy, you should visit the doctor more regularly. But we know for a fact in 2022, he was not on Supps or any gamer powder whatsoever. Is it just a coincidence that 1 scoop of Supps equals to 4,167% of your daily value of vitamin B12? And V's vitamin B12 levels have skyrocketed? This stuff has no business containing that much vitamin B. Imagine someone taking 4 scoops per day. That's what V did. That's over 16,000% your daily value of vitamin B12. B12 is a water-soluble vitamin that is cleared through your kidneys. If you already have kidney damage, whether you're aware of it or not, drinking copious amounts of vitamin B supplements will speed up the progress of kidney damage. Let me tell you something. My dad passed away from kidney disease. It is a disease that is unnoticeable until it's too late, until you're told that you have kidney failure and you have to go on dialysis. Numbers are reasonable. Notice how the normal range was up to 1.3 milligrams per deciliters in 2022, but that has gone down to 1 in 2024. A high creatinine level is a possible marker of kidney disease. We also know that high doses of B vitamins can worsen creatinine levels. I'm not here to diagnose V with kidney disease or anything. Also, please take everything I say with a grain of salt because I am not a physician. The take-home message is if you are intaking copious amounts of supplements or copious amounts of anything, you should be seeing a doctor and having your labs checked regularly. Consuming high levels of vitamin B12 can cause eGFR to decline. eGFR is the estimated glomerular filtration rate. It's pretty much a blood test that measures how well your kidneys filter waste from your blood. It may indicate early kidney disease, but every single one of these values can vary depending on age, sex, body size, and race. It's normal for results to fluctuate slightly between tests, so it's usually better to look at the general pattern over time, which is again why you should get regularly tested. Thankfully, after seeing the lab results, V stopped taking Supps. He hasn't gotten his labs checked again yet, but I am hoping he will soon. I'm curious to know if these values have gone back down to his more normal baseline numbers. I think there should be a warning label next to the max dosage. Not recommended to drink max dosage for consecutive days. If product is to be consumed regularly, it is advised to get regular lab work. Something to that effect. If your product has ingredients per serving that exceeds the 100% daily value and has potential to permanently damage someone's health, you should have a heftier warning label. Saying more in this instance is better than saying less. I think the main reason they even have the do not exceed 4 servings daily is because of the max recommended dose of caffeine, being that it's 400 milligrams. The limit does not take into account the other ingredients whatsoever. Soda Press to Spare, which is caffeine-free, does not have a limit of 4 servings. Neither does Sigma Brain. let's talk about the changes I'd like to see. And honestly, even if they do one or a few of these on the list, I would be pretty happy. Create a line of products that are naturally colored. If your product is not vegan, say it. Add the damn caffeine amounts per serving. Like, what are you afraid of? Minimize the amount of artificial sweeteners. There's literally 3 in each formula. Out of the 3 artificial sweeteners, there's barely information on your erythritol amount per serving. We just know that it's somewhere less than 1,000 milligrams. Hell, if you need your product to be sickly sweet still, fine, but in your hypothetical natural coloring line, use less. You can even say these flavors aren't going to be as sweet as your main line of products. For people like me, we'll probably like it even more because I honestly don't like things that are overly sweet. I always cut down my boba sweetness to like 50%. That's my default. Sometimes I go as low as 25%. If your company actually did things for the health of the consumer and not just profit, do you know how much I would buy from you and just latch onto your brand for the rest of my life? I am looking for brands that I can trust because my issue is there's not many. Boomers are much more brand loyal than millennials or Gen Z. They're the ones that repeat buy Tide, Listerine, Neutrogena, Tylenol, Gillette, Febreze. Younger generations care much more about quality and affordability. I can only speak on behalf of myself, but big household brands that are owned by mega companies actually put me off. The fact that Johnson & Johnson didn't discontinue talc-based baby powder globally till 2023 blows my mind. They sold this cancerous stuff for almost 130 years. In 2020, they stopped selling in US and Canada, but continued to sell globally for 3 extra years. For those who don't know, talcum products have been linked to causing ovarian cancer. This is a devastating form of cancer because it's not commonly detected at an early stage. Only 20% of ovarian cancers get detected early. There is no reliable screening for ovarian cancer, and any symptoms of ovarian cancer tend to be vague and easily ignored until it's too late. Many of these women that are part of the ongoing Johnson & Johnson lawsuit tragically won't live to see their payout. I don't believe many, if any, companies actually care about the consumer's health or creating a positive outcome for us. They want us to buy their products, period. That's why I'm my own health advocate, and you should be too, regardless of your age. I want brands that I can trust. Supps, I'm looking at you. I want to drink your product, and I don't always want to have coffee, and tea does nothing for me. I love all the artist collabs and the new exciting flavors that are always coming out. It sucks that I can't buy from you anymore, and I wouldn't hesitate to give you my money if I could trust your product. I had to get this off my chest because it's just annoying how much I like Supps but can't drink it anymore. And it's downright scary how drinking it daily at the recommended level can still lead you to potential health effects. Please feel free to leave in the comments what your experience is with Supps and if you've had any side effects. Let me know if this helped you and if you'd like me to take a look at any other gaming related product. Thanks a lot, besties. Till next time, take care.